ones here today. Task Force, welcome back to another episode of Case Files, the show where we like to investigate all sorts of stuff. It's the complimentary show that goes with our show, Red Web,
yes, it
podcast
is.
about mysteries. Today, we have stories from you all, so we are so interested in the haunting stories that you have shared with our email, redweb@roosterteeth. So, if you like what we do today, this is kind of like its own thing. I really want to do more like this.
Right.
So if you like this episode, please let us know by hitting that like button, commenting. Let us know what your favorite part about these stories are, and I would love to keep doing them.
I'm glad that we're doing this episode because just by proxy of, being a part of Red Web, co-hosting it, etc., we get a lot of people now, I feel like, that come up to us during maybe conventions and stuff like that, and they're like telling us their stories or what they've experienced and stuff like that. And it's awesome. A little scary sometimes, but that's just something that naturally is like a conversation for us now.
Yeah.
So I think that this is just a natural segue for us to case files. We do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's stories, sometimes we're looking at scary TikToks, sometimes we're experimenting or looking at gadgets. So this makes sense.
Right. I mean, the podcast is all about talking about famous or sometimes lesser known mysteries. This is all about talking about your stories, what you all have experienced, and some of these have photos that go along with the story, so I'm very eager to dive into them.
And man, it's the back and forth in my mind doing this show, where I love it. We love that tangible evidence.
Tangible evidence.
But also, don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
And if you're feeling scared, you're feeling cold, you're feeling out there in the holiday season, you want to get cozied up, we have this new cozy hoodie coming out, so no matter what you're doing, whether you're getting into the spooky scaries, still keeping the Halloween season extended, or just trying to cozy up in the cold.
Yeah, we got the red variant here. You guys ate up the previous color variant, and let me tell you, y'all hungry.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know why you brought out the fork and knife to dig into this one, but you know what? That's maybe the mystery of this century.
Not edible, I'll tell you that.
Not
right now.
edible, but you did eat it up. Thank you all, Task Force, supporting the show. Let's dive into this one. Okay. We won't be able to say the names because we haven't done the legal release form, so I'm going to give the initials of the story givers. And this is a story, by the way, verbatim, as they've written it. So I'm going to use exactly as they've written it for the sake of their storytelling prowess. Let's dive into it. This is a story from E.L. So I'm a Native American, and for high school, I was sent to a boarding school for natives. I'm sure you can imagine, but the place is very old. I need to explain how our dorm rooms were set up. We had 2 rooms connected by 1 bathroom, and you could easily walk to your bathroom mate's room by walking through the bathroom. Each room had 2 to 3 people with a max of 5 sharing a single bathroom and shower.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah. It feels like the college experience. You're all densely in there.
Yep.
But they said, think of it as a big U shape. Well, my first year there was back in 2004. One weekend I had to run down to my room to grab something out of the closet and use the restroom. So I ran down, and as I was in my closet looking for said thing, I hear crying coming from our bathroom mate's room. Well, my initial reaction wasn't fear, but a want to help because I was friends with our neighbors. So I began calling out, asking if everything was okay, and I began walking through the bathroom. I asked 2 or 3 more times before entering the room. I enter, and you can see 1 bed clearly from the bathroom, and I see no one. And you have to take a few steps in before you can see the other bed and the desk that's in the corner of the room. And I'm sure that you can guess there was no one there either. I honestly don't remember when the crying had stopped, but I simply backed away and slowly grabbed what I needed from my locker and ran back outside. I didn't tell anyone about that story until 3 years later in my senior year. I didn't want to scare my neighbors and have them be really uncomfortable in their living room. I never heard anything like that again coming from that room.
I'll be honest, I would have laid that story thick on everyone.
Oh yeah?
Everyone.
Even the people living in there?
Both sides.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm like, explain this to me. What kind of prank are you trying to pull here?
Right, where's the walkie-talkie and what kind of range you got on that thing?
Where's the little box that's crying? Tell me. Tell me now. Or
do you have a secret room back there that
Right.
are you stealing some square footage? Because this is a college dorm. I need to get in on that.
It's true. You have a hole in the wall that expands
It's prime
out.
real estate.
Yeah, I mean, if you're hearing crying, especially it seems like it's crying that's very loud and distinct. You heard what you heard, you know what I mean? That being said, I totally get trying to help someone, especially like it's college.
Right.
Right. You're sharing with like a number of people. So it could be them. It could be maybe someone they had over, you know what I mean? It's
A neighbor?
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
a neighbor.
paper-thin walls.
Yeah, paper-thin walls, and everyone's shuffling around, everyone's visiting each other's dorms. Like, it could have been like a party dorm, or you know, maybe someone's there with a lot of friends, etc. So I get wanting to go in and trying to help and being like, you know, a good Samaritan and all that kind of stuff. But not finding anything and hearing some distinct crying,
What would you do in that moment?
I would run.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not gonna like. I mean,
You poke in because you genuinely think it's them. You probably the same reaction as EL here. You probably poke in. You're
poke
like,
in.
there's no one here.
So I'd do that. If I get no response, slowly approach. I'll peek around the corner. I see nothing.
Skedaddle.
I bolt. I run.
Instantly
I
out.
run.
No, I believe that.
Out the door, through the halls,
Out the window for
just
me.
down the street.
Right.
I'm going to go get, I don't know, some kind of comfort fast food or something like that.
I'm with you though too. I'm living on that story. I'm not sitting there with that stress in my
No.
mind. Like I need to know if anybody else had experiences
Right.
in this very dorm.
That's exactly.
like,
but
yes,
I get it.
Room
I get it.
213 was haunted.
Look, I get it. You don't want to like scare them, freak them
Sure.
out. You know,
Maybe I do.
Don't warn them of the dangers that
Sure.
could be. I totally get it.
Right, right.
That's fine.
Yeah, I get that. You don't
That's
want to
just not me,
unsettle.
though. That's not me,
You don't want
though.
to be like, hey, I came to check on you, but it wasn't you. Someone was crying in here, and it wasn't corporeal.
Yep.
So sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a little freaky.
Yeah. Let's move on to this next story from MA.
Lay it on me.
They have an interesting story here. It's a little shorter, but they have some photos to go along with it, so I'm excited. I went on a ghost wagon walk in the local downtown area of Belton, Texas. We walked around our historic downtown where we traveled daily and learned more of our town's history. This particular building pictured was the first police station / jail, and I believe the sheriff or chief also lived on site. I took this photo of the building and the next day noticed the silhouette of a woman in the top right window. The arrow is pointing to the back of her head. She's facing to the left. It almost looks as though she's wearing a bonnet. It's a private property, so I couldn't get any closer, but it struck me as so strange. Anyways, thanks for all you have done. I love the content. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you so much, Em.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look here. So let's start with the wagon photo.
Oh, so this is all in a wagon?
I guess so. Maybe not a traditional wagon as such, but you see like kind of the grate
It's
down
like
here. or
it's
something.
got a whole like little system. That's a fun little like tour.
Yeah. All right, so here's the building that they were talking about. Platinum Tax Advisory. Maybe someone's doing some midnight taxes.
Right.
Oh, okay, I can see, whoa, sorry, that's my bad. I can see a little bit of what they're talking about. So here's their arrow.
Oh.
You see? That's their head, just to the right of my mouse cursor.
Oh.
And then here would be the torso, just again to the right of my mouse cursor.
That's interesting because it's not like a darker outline like it would usually be. This is like a very soft,
Yeah.
like clear outline.
Now, coming off of last week's episode where we went over the evidence that you guys found in our Pennhurst Asylum ghost investigation, we went over that, so we're kind of in a debunking mood. We're not going to sit here and ruthlessly pull apart everyone's stuff, but for the sake of really investigating what we're looking at
Do you
here,
think it's this light and how it's reflecting?
it's possible. I don't know about the angle there, but I do want to say, even if you look at the other windows, you can see a lot of grainy artifacting. That's what happens when you take low light photos. It cranks up what you call the ISO. This is, again, my novice understanding of it. And when you do that, there is post-processing on most smartphones, and if you're quick enough and you take a photo at night and you look at it in your photo roll, you can actually see it apply the post-processing. And sometimes when that happens, it can create, it's using AI to kind of figure things out and blur
Yeah.
And so that can create artifacting akin to this. I'm not saying that this is artifacting, but this is pretty interesting nonetheless to see that kind of figure.
I mean, let me tell
You're
you.
not seeing it
this
in the
is-
other windows.
This is artifacting. It's very interesting because it looks like an actual, like, you know, there's the head, it's the back, it's facing this way. And you can kind of see a little bit of the, like, the arm.
Yeah. It looks pretty interesting. Like if it was a lens flare, it would be a person-shaped lens flare.
Yeah.
I did want to throw out the idea of artifacting just in case, but this
I mean,
Honestly, it's pretty
whether it's
interesting.
the light refracting off of it or the camera just doing some funky stuff, it's in the shape of a person.
Absolutely. It really is.
I'll tell you that much.
And I
Like,
mean, it seems to be a local fact to this town that this building had a lot of history, whether it be criminals or the authorities or anyone in between, and that people did live here, and it is pretty historic, and so it would be
now
predisposed
people
to
just
have that
chilling
kind of
doing
energy.
taxes here.
I mean, well, taxes are pretty haunting, to be fair.
I mean, yes, they're terrifying.
It's a very appropriate
But
location.
still, I was just like,
Right.
if I knew the history, I mean, maybe it was super cheap.
Maybe it was super cheap.
Man, that's an
Pulling-
interesting capture and find there.
Right.
That's
Let's-
really
oh, gosh.
cool.
Okay, pulling way out, just before we go to the next and last story here, there is a street light, or I guess it's a telephone pole. There isn't a light on it, but there is a light, obviously, from the right of frame, and that could be playing into this. When I first saw this, I only saw the lower half, and it seems like a uniform kind of line here. But zooming in, you really see
Right, you see
that
that head.
head.
Yeah.
which is on a separate pane of glass above it, which has a slightly different depth. So it's something to consider for sure. But either way, kind of eerie. You are way better at controlling this than I am.
Man, it looks like two little eyes and a little nose right there.
We got ourselves a baby criminal.
know.
I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know how I see all these damn faces.
It is human disposition to seek patterns, perhaps even where they aren't. But
Yeah.
this is definitely an interesting.
It's
an interesting photo.
It's an interesting find, that's for sure.
Let's go on to our final story of the episode. This one comes from MD.
MD.
Okay, here's their story. This is a picture taken of me at the Winchester Mansion. We went back in May of 2021 and did a self-guided tour. I'm a very hard skeptic of paranormal activity, but my friend is not. After recently watching Haunter again, which is a sister show of ours, it's one of our coworkers, or several of our coworkers have done a ghost hunting show. I was on that for a few episodes, but that's what they're referring to. They were watching Haunter again. They said, I decided to provoke any sort of ghost or spirits that may have been in the mansion.
Ooh, that's dangerous. That's
Dangerous.
the Jeremy route.
Really trying to antagonize
A friend
the
of
ghosts.
ours was on the show.
When this photo was taken, I thought nothing of it, but my friend had a bad feeling and felt a heavy weight in the room. When we checked the picture later that night, I didn't think anything of it, but it was also a live picture. Just a quick aside, a live photo on iPhones is basically, it takes many photos over the course of like a second.
Yep.
So that way you can pick, to make sure if people are blinking or whatever, you
Yeah,
can
you
shift it.
pick
But
and
it also,
choose.
yes, and it also makes for a nice GIF of a specific moment. So we'll look at that in just a moment here. So we checked the full range of the picture, and that's the second image attached. You can see something fly across the screen quickly near the last few frames. If memories serve right, I believe I was in the seance room when this photo was taken. Feel free to do what you wish with this information.
Task Force getting involved. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Let's take a look.
All right, so we're gonna take a look at the live photo in the GIF form. You can see the flash go off. And what's interesting is you see these kind of two orbs here that almost are caught in the moment. But when you look at it as a full image, just a still
it
image.
looks like a streak of like a lens flare.
Exactly, and so like you see the motion blur of it flying across from here to here.
Is that lens flare though?
I don't know, because it looks pretty dark when you see before the flash goes off. Oh, okay. So this GIF is going fast. Is this this little like orb thing here actually the same?
It might be the
It's
same.
looping
It's
so
going off
quick.
at the same time.
Okay, I see something. Now there's another one here over their right shoulder. Now that one almost feels like it could be a reflection off of any of the reflective materials on the backpack.
Right.
And when you look at the still photo of the same event, you see that it's in parallel motion.
Another streak.
So I'm wondering, does that have anything to do with the reflective material on the shoes or on the backpack?
I would think so.
Either way, being in the seance room of the Winchester house,
Right. Brave soul.
brave souls.
I mean, I think it's a combination of just the light and the materials. in the room, whether it be on the person or the person taking the photo. Oh, I mean, look at right here, though, in the bottom. There's something really reflective right here.
Yeah, something that had entered.
And that had entered the frame and is also catching light.
Right.
Like a heavy amount. So, yeah, just things reflecting light
Yeah.
into the picture.
I want to go here now and stand there.
Why?
I don't know, see if I can take a photo of you and see if you get an orb on you. Or if
Yeah.
we can recreate this exact photo, get you that whole outfit.
Imagine.
And then you get the 2 streaks.
Imagine those streaks. You see that little face in the window again.
Oh, God. You're talking about from Penhurst?
From Penhurst.
Ugh.
From our
don't do
previous
that.
episode.
At some point, we're going to have to investigate the Winchester Mansion,
we
though, right?
don't,
I
though.
mean,
We
I
really
feel like we
don't.
have to.
I feel like we did the thing. You know what I mean? Hey, naturally they would go investigate, so we did the thing. And it's like, hey, why don't you guys go investigate? And then I can be like, no, we've done 2 investigations already. Already did it.
But then we do it more. Can't look at the top video of this channel and go, can't do more investigations. People love investigations.
I do love the cohesiveness and the teamwork of us investigating, and then having a show like Case Files where we can take your guys' time codes and really try and break down the different noises. Like, that stuff is magnificent. And now you guys are getting involved with your stories and your photos. I love it. Task Force, we're really out there doing the thing.
I'm just scrolling around here because we have a lot of other stories, some with more photos. We only scratched the surface of the stories that you have all sent to us, so don't think that we've lost them or that we're not going to get to them. We will absolutely come back around if you guys want that. In fact, it might be something, if you want, we can always spin it out and make it its own series. Because
we get enough of submissions.
Absolutely, because I've been trying to think of how to approach creepypasta-like storytelling without obviously copyright issues and making sure that we credit the experiences of the viewers at home. But this has been a nice little treat to hear the ghost stories that we haven't experienced, but instead from the stories of your own.
I mean, I said it a million times and I say it again. I love it, and your guys' support, whether it's just a view or liking a video because it helps the algorithm, or sharing what we post on socials, or going above and beyond and getting yourself a nice piece of merch. But like, that helps a lot too.
Yeah.
And so we just keep growing.
Yeah, you guys are phenomenal.
It's crazy.
I mean, whether you share us with a skeptic or a believer, that creates community.
We're
and you
just
guys
growing.
We're just
That's
growing.
so cool.
But like, that community means so much to us,
Yeah.
and like the conversations that we're able to have, whether it be debunking stuff or going,
Testing
oh my
out
God,
gadgets
what is
or-
this? What's
Yeah.
going on here? I love it. And I love that we have the full spread from believers to skeptics and everything in between.
Right,
So
we're covering like true crime to cryptids to crap tier cryptids to
we got
internet mysteries.
aliens,
we got, it all.
true crime. Yeah, we got all
it
sorts of
all.
everything. But
And you guys are eating it up, and that allows us to do more. So that's cool.
it's just nice to know that it's not a one-way street, that we're not the only ones out there getting chilled to the bone or, getting scared or
It's
going
a
on
mutual
investigations.
thing.
It's nice to know that the task force is out there on the
Yeah.
field doing it, and we're kind of the people in the chair right now.
That being,
How's it feel? How's it feel? We get to kind
How's
of
it
be
feel
the
being
folks in the
Christian?
chair.
The chair?
The chair? Kind of comfy.
Yeah, it is kind of comfy. I see
But
why
I
it
feel like
does
I
it.
got FOMO, though. I kind of want to be out there with the task force now.
Dude,
You got
if
the
we
itch?
go, going back to the previous episode, we
Yeah.
went over the task force time codes on our Penhurst haunt.
Yes, yes.
If I see face in the window, I swear I'm gonna look. I'll be honest, and like, I don't play up anything. Like, my reaction is my reaction. I'm telling you right now, if I see that face again or something like that face, task force, I'm leaving. That's it. That's it. It's up. I'm gone. That's it.
Hey, did you hear that growl, Fredo?
That's-
You just hear the
Like,
distant patters of him down the street.
You will not see me on any haunts. I'll be very selective of what I do with Red Web from here on out. That's a hard. I don't want something following me.
We're just gonna have to saddle you up with blessings on blessings and then bring you in.
Oh, I'm gonna go in with holy water,
Yep.
salts, everything. I
Yeah.
might just antagonize. Like, you never. There's no rule book for this.
No.
right,
You never
well,
know. Well, all right, Task Force, thank you so much for joining us again this week. We'll see you next week for more case files. Again, if you liked it, be sure to subscribe down below and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. We also upload all of our podcasts to this channel as well, so you never have to miss them. You can get them all no matter where you listen. And Fredo, I'll see you next week.
Our little family's growing.
Yeah. Bye.
But no ghosts, though. We didn't,
Well,
don't.
You never know.
No.
You never know. There might be ghosts in the family.